Hello, my friends. We are going to discuss episode 2 of season 3 today. Really excited. I've just been thinking, I hope that we get some kind of, comeuppance for Steven. I know that in the present, in the wedding timeline, he seems okay and like he's living a happy life and he's fine, but maybe something will happen because I really feel like if this show ends and there's no satisfaction, we don't get any kind of punishment or consequences for Steven, I will be so mad. I don't think he's going to go to jail. He should. I don't think he will. But, yeah, those are just my pre-episode thoughts. Let's dive right in. Lucy is in her room. She's all dressed up and she's calling Steven over and over again. He's not picking up. She eventually leaves a voicemail. It seems like they had plans, but she is clearly terrified that something is going on, because now she knows, at any minute, Steven could just totally flip and do something. He says his phone was on silent, but I just don't believe a thing he says. I think he was purposefully rejecting the calls, declining the calls, because I think he wants her to suffer a little bit. Steven starts playing the voicemail that she just left, even though Lucy doesn't want him to, and he's like, "Why do you sound so nervous?" She says, "Oh, you were late. I was nervous about that something happened." He said, "I was only 15 minutes late." He even asks, he says, "What did you think I was going to do?" Because Lucy says, "Oh, I was nervous after our talk yesterday." Steven he's loving it. And of course, Lucy was thinking he was going to do something. Turns out the plans tonight are to go to McKinley's bar and do some karaoke. It's karaoke night, I guess. So we get there, we see Pippa and Wrigley doing a little fun duet. Lucy and Bree are talking about going up to sing together. They are so cute. I feel like the three girls have such good chemistry that when they act, it just feels so natural. I feel like I'm truly watching Friends. When Lucy says, "Oh, you can sing to me, it'll be romantic." I don't know. I like the way that she said it. Steven continues to be really weird. He says that the bartender is ignoring him, so Lucy comes over and says, "What if I try?" And he's like, "Oh, what are you going to do, flirt with him or hit on him?" And he eventually says he's just joking, but he is clearly annoyed. We learn that Wrigley is going to be joining the same photography class that Bree is in. Wrigley also learns that. Pippa kind of orchestrated it so that Wrigley would take a class that Bree's in, so that, essentially, in a way, so that Bree can quote-unquote keep an eye on him, but that annoys him because he feels like that's what she's doing. She's trying to keep an eye on him in an uncomfortable way. But then, guess who Bree sees across the bar? It's the girl that she spotted coming out of Oliver's office. So she follows her into the bathroom and then sparks up a conversation with her and essentially befriends her. She says that I think her friend left to go with some guy, so Bree invites her to come hang with her friends. We learn also that her name is Amanda. Back at the bar, Lucy and Steven, Lucy's asking to do a duet with him, and Steven's like, sure. Evan shows up with Molly, which is funny. She makes a funny self-deprecating comment. And then Bree comes in with her freshman, Amanda, and introduces her. Which, there's a joke made about it, "Oh, are we adopting freshmen now?" And Steven says, "Oh, Bree's just a good person." He's so annoying. Even Evan hears that, and he gives a little look, too. Then Molly does a song, and it was really fun seeing her up on that stage. Just having fun. She kind of sucked in season 2, based on her comments about what happened with Chris, the whole Chris situation. She said, honestly, some awful things. I don't know. She's funny this season. Hopefully doesn't continue to be problematic. Also, when Evan comes over, Lucy says to Steven, "Oh, let's go pick out a song." And Steven says, "Oh, no, Evan's getting shots and whatnot." Steven wants her to sit in that pain. He wants to see what happens. He wants her to suffer. Then we get Bree and Amanda chatting at the bar while they're getting drinks. And Bree just goes for it. She's like, "Oh, how are your professors?" Amanda asks Bree if she wants her drink instead because it's so sugary, and she says she needs to lose 10 pounds. And Bree's like, "What are you talking about?" Amanda says it's because of her boyfriend. She feels like, I don't know, he's not attracted to her anymore or whatever. She's saying she gained all this weight. And, Bree and us, the audience, were thinking, oh my god, Oliver sucks. Turns out Amanda keeps explaining, and she has a boyfriend from, I guess home, a long-distance boyfriend who's at NYU. So, don't know what's up with that. Bree is so sweet with her. I mean, she has ulterior motives, but it's still nice to see. She even, takes a photo with her so that Amanda can, post it and look like she's having fun at college, even though she's all homesick. Lucy says to Steven, you and I are singing next, and now he's like, I don't know if I want to do it. You do it. She's like, I'm not doing it alone, so she drags him up there, and then as the song is starting, as she gets up there, he just doesn't. And it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing to watch, and Lucy's just up there on her own, and screw Steven because he wants her to just, I don't know, he wants her to be embarrassed. But then, of course, Bree joins her, and they have a very cute duet together, and everyone loves it. Also, it's Don't Go Breaking My Heart, which is quite ironic of a choice. It seems like it's after Evan shouts, yeah, Steven, sing for us, that he officially decides to leave. So, you can tell what's influencing his decisions right now. It's clearly this secret is eating him up, which I don't totally mind. It's kind of funny because as soon as Bree gets up there and they're having fun together, Steven looks so mad. What did you expect? He is so jealous that, well, I think it's actually a mix of things. I think it's that she could be okay without him, she's happy, metaphorically without him, up there without him, and two, that she has such a close friend. And, I mean, he doesn't at this point. He's had the falling outs with both Wrigley and now Evan. Also, find it funny how we know that Bree's actress, Kat Missile, is a fantastic singer because she did a cover in last season. But I love how she kind of, she's not showing her full chops as Bree, because Bree's not a singer. And she kind of holds back a little, and I just noticed that. Steven says he's gonna leave. Lucy runs out after him. And he says, seeing Evan in the same room as you, I can't stop picturing it. Okay, valid. And then he says, oh, and seeing Bree, stupid little idiot. As if he cares about Bree's feelings in all of this. As if. We have a similar conversation again where Steven says, I don't know if I can get over it. Lucy says, what does that mean? Are you going to tell Bree? And Steven reacts saying, are you more scared of her finding out or, that we're over, essentially? He asks, are you scared of losing me or are you scared of losing Bree? And it's this man is so jealous. He's so jealous of her. Lucy's pretty honest. She says, I'm scared of losing both of you. Then she goes in for a kiss and is I just want to go back to my place. And I thought she was going to get him here. But Steven, he is a master at these things. And he's able to resist. And he's no. And he leaves. Lucy is back in her room. And then Bree comes in. And she tells Lucy about what's actually going on with the freshman, Amanda. Bree gets pretty vulnerable and emotional here. And she talks about how she's felt really alone. She starts crying and says that she's just sick of being shocked by people, close to her that she loves. Whew. Well, to add fuel to the fire of the secret, now Lucy freaks out because Bree is having such a strong emotional reaction, explaining how, these people close to her have betrayed her. Lucy subsequently has a full-blown panic attack while Bree is still there, which then leads the girls to call Alex, the dealer, for some medication to help her calm down. It's kind of funny how they call him as if he's a doctor on call, because he says it's the middle of the night, why would I come? And then when he does come, they're almost asking him to diagnose her and see what would work, and he's I am not a doctor. Yeah, Pippa says when he comes in, so you want to take a look at her? What? And then you know what Alex does? He shows Lucy a calming technique. He lifts up her wrists and taps his two fingers. And that's when it hit me. Oh my gosh, he has some kind of connection to Bree from growing up in the group homes. Because remember, it was season 1. It might have been episode 1 or 2 where she mentioned a calming technique that she learned from trauma therapy, which we kind of could infer was from something a program in the group homes. Bree has this instant moment of recognition. And even Pippa says, Bree, didn't you show us that freshman year? And she just kind of nods, and like Alex looks over, but they don't say anything. We cut to Bree calling Alex, and he says, oh, I was wondering when you were going to call. So they do know each other. But we'll return to that, because you know what happens next? We're in the hallway. It's the hallway of Oliver's office. Bree and Evan run into each other. They're talking. Bree sees Oliver coming from down the hall, and she has a moment. She has a moment, and she's like, I gotta go. And Evan witnesses that, and he instantly knows. Evan asks him in the hallway, do you know Bree? And he looks sick. Little Evan looks sick to his stomach. Oliver took a page out of the Stephen Demarco book of manipulation, because they start talking in his office, and he says, oh, you clearly must like this girl. You must have maybe like messed up or made a mistake. Way to make Evan feel bad to start. And then the real kicker is he says, you know, it's not attractive. It's not attractive to question her about these things, and that it's going to be hurtful to her. It's so Steven, because he's not saying this stuff because he actually cares about Evan. He's saying it because he's trying to cover his own bootay. He says, if she broke up with you, then you need to look at your own behavior. Which is like, yeah, true. But none of this has to do with what Evan said. With the accusations that are true about Oliver and Bree. I mean, I wonder if this will progress in any way throughout the rest of the season. Because, I mean, Evan kind of just takes it. He doesn't question Oliver again. But then when he's leaving, he says, go F yourself. So, Evan is still pissed. Okay, now we have Bree and Alex. They are finally meeting up in, like, the school coffee shop. And we learn, they start talking. Alex says that he recognized Bree walking around campus. And that she still looks the same as when she was little. So we know that they knew each other quite a while back. Bree was 8 or 9. And they just have a really sweet conversation, kind of reminiscing. We also learn that Alex is a master's student. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. It felt kind of romantic. Bree goes to check up on Lucy and tells her about what she just encountered with Alex. The fact that she knew him. And she explains to Lucy that, you know, she said in season 1, I think, that there were 2 good homes and 1 bad home, and she met Alex when she was in the bad home, and that he was kind of protective of her. Stephen calls Lucy, she picks up, and he says in this demanding tone, you need to come to my room, we need to talk. Even Bree says, like, I don't like that tone. And she asks a question, which is not just to Lucy, but I think in some ways to the audience as well. Is it worth it? And I think for Lucy at this point, it's not about if Steven's worth it. It's just, is it worth the risk of not having it? Because he will threaten to blow up her life. So Lucy gets there. First of all, love her fit. Love this jacket. Great look. He says that he doesn't think he's going to really be able to get over this. And he questions Lucy again. Do you even really care about me? I don't think you even really care about me. I think you need to prove it. Oh, it's going to get diabolical. What does he mean? What does he mean? And yeah, he says, 1 condition. Lucy's like, what? What could possibly be the 1 condition? And it's that Lucy has to tell Bree the truth. And that's the only way they can work. Diabolical. Lucy is so valid because, no, then she says, how would that help anybody? And Stephen's like, oh, because then, you know, we're honest. There's no secrets. No, I think Lucy's asking the right questions. Like, how does that help here? And it doesn't even make sense because if he says he doesn't want there to be any more lies between them, there aren't right now. So telling Bree, it doesn't equate to that. Lucy says that's not forgiveness, that's punishment. And I am so glad she says this. You can just tell, I think now that we're in season 3, she has gone through a lot and she is starting to see through Stephen in some ways. She understands, no, that's not actually what you're asking of me. This isn't actually a way to prove my care for you. It's a way to punish me. So Lucy says, you're trying to have me pick you or Bree, which is really messed up. And Steven's like, well, you're making this decision that fast. Like, yes, I guess I am asking. So Lucy, again, very mature. I was surprised she said this. She says, if that's what you're asking me to do, then yeah, I'm picking Bree. Lucy calls Steven a hypocrite. This was just a great moment. It was very satisfying. And then we get a little throwback, a little callback to the coconut bra. Because Lucy says, the only reason I hooked up with Evan was because you left me with Diana. Well, I was in a coconut bra. I don't know why. It was funny. She said it twice. I don't know why she said it twice there for dramatic effect, for emphasis. But it's true. She was in the coconut bra. And he left her. What could he expect? And she doesn't stop there. She keeps going. She talks about how he's awful to everyone, and she brings up Macy. So she even says, she kind of eggs him on, and she says, do it. Call her right now. Because I know that you won't, since then you'll have nothing to hold over me. Which is true. Lucy has learned his ways. Lucy storms out, which I was proud of her. How did you feel in this moment? I was, happy that she could actually stand up for herself in some way against Steven. So, of course, Steven's pissed because to him, this is about power and control. And clearly he does not have the power that he thought he had over Lucy. She has Bree. She's okay with that. She's okay with even losing both of them. So he storms over to Evans and is like, I'm still mad at you. He is pissed, saying, why did you tell me? You ruined my relationship. But Evan, another good moment, he says back to him, you need to sit down and not talk to me like a lunatic in my house. And I was like, this is good. This is good. The three girls are now together in the dorms where Lucy updates them on the fact that her and Steven are yet again, how many times has it been now? They're yet again done. They pretty much reveal that they had a loose bet. They're like, oh, we didn't think it would happen this fast. Pippa says, even though Steven is the devil incarnate, I want you to be happy. But Lucy replies that she is happy and she doesn't want to let it ruin her semester. Well, haven't we heard that before? Diana texts Pippa asking to meet up and talk. And in this conversation, Diana reveals that she's been thinking about Pippa too. Diana even suggests that they smooch. So, Piana or Dippa? Anything but Steven at this point? It is in full swing. Bree said earlier in the episode that she got somehow looped into seeing her freshman again. So, her and Amanda meet up at the coffee shop. Again, Amanda is in a jacket that I swear is so similar to the one Lucy was just in, and I keep thinking she's Lucy just like at first glance. Is that just me? Amanda seems distressed. And when Bree asks about that, she starts talking, Amanda does, and says her and her boyfriend broke up, but that it was actually because of something she did, because she hooked up with someone else. And she says it's a really weird situation, because he's a lot older. So Amanda says that it happened really randomly. She was at the teacher's Christmas party, and that he was flirting with her all night. And she didn't think of anything of it because he's married. And then I had to do the math in my head. Not the math, you know what I mean. But I had thought about the timelines. She just started school. She's a freshman. This was the same Christmas party that Bree was at. Where Oliver and Bree had a moment. He was flirting with Amanda. Just let that sink in. And apparently that night he got her number, and they've been texting and seeing each other all the time since then. What a bombshell. I mean, we kind of knew from the ending of season 2 that this was somewhat of a pattern for Oliver. I just didn't expect the timelines to, overlap. Like, him and Bree were still a thing when he was already trying to get this new prospect, the freshman, the, fresh freshman. So if you didn't already think he was a creep, you definitely can now, because it's just getting weirder and weirder. I mean, listen, I always knew he was a creep. I never liked the relationship last season. Some people liked it. I never liked that man. I'll go on record. But that's where the scene ends, so I guess we'll have to wait till next episode to see what comes out of that. the next thing we jump into is Wrigley coming into that photography class that he is with Bree in. The class is tasked with taking portraits of a partner, so they have to get in pairs. So obviously, Wrigley and Bree pair up, and Wrigley starts taking photos of Bree, and it's very sweet and tender again, but it also feels like they're trying to paint it as kind of romantic. I don't know how I felt watching this. Bree is upset, and Wrigley gets her to laugh so genuinely, and it's I just love these two characters, and Pippa, loves Wrigley, but they're not really in a relationship together. I mean, Wrigley thinks so. I don't know. I don't like where they're trying to take it. What did you think about this scene and what they're doing? Steven fell asleep on Evan's couch and slept through all of his classes, which he says he never does. And he says that he's really upset. He says it in a very authentic way. You can tell this man is upset. He's not saying that for anyone else. He is saying that to himself because he just woke up and he is fully realizing how bad he feels. I mean, I can't say I feel bad for him. We're finally having some kind of Steven, we're seeing him feel, well, is it the weight of his actions? Yeah, it is the weight of his actions, because of course Lucy was going to say no and storm out of the room. I can't help but feel some satisfaction for his downfall. He says, he's looking down and he says, "This is bad." And I'm scared. Personally, I'm scared. Because I've never seen Steven like this. I've never seen him look so powerless. And because usually when he feels bad, he knows what to do to make himself feel better. For better or for worse. He always has a plan. He can take it out. He can hold something against someone. He always has a plan. So the fact that he just has this moment of recognition where he's I don't feel good anymore. I mean, I think he realizes he's all alone. He doesn't have his what's the word? He's like a vampire. He doesn't have his energy sources, the two women for him to suck his teeth into and drain their life energy, because usually he could jump between Diana or Lucy, and now he has neither. He's out of his supply. There's a term if we're talking about a narcissistic personality. It's kind of, his supply. Lucy is in bed, tossing and turning. She can't sleep. She's clearly anxious. So she steps outside. And there's this great moment where there's this group of guys across the quad hanging out. She looks over and she sees Steven. But then when she looks back, it's not him. It's just a guy that looks like him. And it just shows you how paranoid she is because of this man and how he's kind of just infected every aspect of her life. She's seeing him in other people. He is such a jump scare. I just really liked that cut because it puts you in Lucy's state of mind. So that was a really fun episode. Oh my gosh, again, the season is going by so quickly. I need to catch up majorly because now that there's even more viewers of this last season, there are even more spoilers online, and I'm trying so hard to not see anything because I also don't want to have spoilers in any of these videos. I want to just watch one by one so that we can watch along together if you're doing that with me. But let me know what you thought about this episode, if you have predictions for what's happening later. I really hope, oh my gosh, it's probably 8 episodes again, isn't it? The first season was 10 episodes and it was fantastic. I did see the stat, speaking of the viewership, that said here it is. There was a 150% increase from season 1's views in the same time frame. Season 3 received 5 million views globally across Disney Plus and Hulu in the first 7 days of streaming. And I just can't believe there's so many of us now. It's great. It's fantastic. I've been telling all of my friends to watch. There's so many people who still haven't watched who I know would love the show. So, yeah, but it's fun to have even more viewership. More people to talk to about this crazy little story. But yes, that is all for today for episode 2. Let's discuss in the comments. I want to hear all of your thoughts. Love you. Bye.